Breaking news. Two New York City police officers, Officer Rafael Ramos and Officer Wenjan Liu, were gunned down in broad daylight Saturday while sitting in their squad car. Eyewitnesses say the gunman, who's been identified as 28-year-old Ishmael Brinsley, shot at the officers through the passenger side window. The mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, says the officers never even had the chance to reach for their guns. He says they may have never even seen it coming. Police say Brinsley then ran to a nearby subway station where he turned the gun on himself. Brinsley allegedly posted this anti-police message to Instagram before the attack, and an hour later, this message was posted, leading investigators to believe that these were revenge killings for Eric Garner and Mike Brown. Both families denounced the attack and are calling for peace, making headlines overseas. The dramatic end to a 16-hour hostage situation at a Lindt chocolate cafe in Australia. This footage aired live around the world as Sydney police stormed the cafe to rescue a dozen hostages after they heard gunshots coming from inside. In all, 17 people were held captive. 5 managed to escape before police went in. The man behind it all, Mahan Haran Monis, an extremist who detectives say had no ties to ISIS, the Taliban, or any other known terrorist organization. 2 hostages were killed. Monis was killed by police. Crime and punishment. A mother from Oregon is in jail today, accused of throwing her 6-year-old autistic son off a bridge. Detectives say 34-year-old Julian McCabe called 911 Monday to tell them she had just thrown her son London off the Yakina Bay Bridge, a drop of more than 100 feet. Investigators say even if London survived that drop, he wouldn't have lasted more than 20 minutes in the bitter cold water. It took a rescue team almost 4 hours to find his body. McCabe has been charged with aggravated murder and manslaughter. This week in politics. Concern over another government shutdown has come to an end. The Senate passed a $1.1 trillion spending plan. The new budget will fund the government through next September. However, the Department of Homeland Security will only be funded till the end of February. Ain't that bizarre? There's a small coastal town in Washington state where the ocean is washing away the land, taking homes and buildings with it. The name Washaway Beach says it all. Watch as this home slipped into the Pacific Ocean. The homeowner says when he bought the home, it was miles away from the beach. But every year, the ocean erodes 100 feet of land, claiming more than 100 homes and buildings, even part of a forest, since the 1920s. Viral this week, a dog born with 2 deformed front legs is getting the chance to be a normal dog for the first time, all thanks to a 3D printer. This is Derby. He was adopted from peaceandpaws.org, a website where people can rescue dogs from high-kill shelters. His new owner got him a cart to help with getting around, but he still couldn't run and play with other dogs. That's when his owner and her colleagues decided to use a 3D printer to design prosthetics. And now, Derby can't stop running. Derby's story has reached more than 5 million views on YouTube in just 5 days. Good morning, Rutgers, and thank you for waking up with us. As you can see, I'm flying solo today. I'm Nayari Hodge. Happy Valentine's Day, Rutgers. I'm your not-so-secret admirer. We've got a great show lined up for you guys, featuring interviews with Chisa Ibilu from the Rutgers Quidditch team and Anastasia Milliker from RUSA, who's here to talk to us about the town hall meeting with President Barchi. And we also have news, weather, and sports updates, as well as some upcoming events. So let's start the show. Initially unable to cope with the death of her twin sister, whom she had a special bond with, Purvani found herself heading down the same destructive path that led to her sister's death. Purvani stated that every time she looked in the mirror, she would see her sister staring back at her.
Paravani says therapy, her poems, and the help of her grad teachers saved her life. Her book is now on sale, available in print and electronically.
It's great that she was able to share her story through her poetry.
Definitely.
And she was able to find a way to cope, and hopefully it shows other people that there are various ways to cope. All right, guys, picture this. You're in the bed sleeping, your alarm clock goes off. What do you naturally want to do? Hit the snooze button. A Rutgers University course called Severe Weather Field Trip takes students across the section of the United States known as Tornado Alley for 2 weeks over the summer in hopes to see the creation of extreme weather conditions. The result, your body may begin releasing hormones that make you fall back asleep, putting you into a deeper sleep than you were before. I would like to see the formation of a tornado.
I don't think I would, because that's a little bit dangerous. I would like to watch it maybe on TV.
Well, you know, Lindsay, danger is my middle name.
Oh, my God.
Welcome back, Rutgers. Now I'm joined by Chisa Ibilu, a member of the Rutgers Quidditch team. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Okay, now, I'm somewhat of a Harry Potter fan.
Okay.
I've seen all the movies, read 4 books, so
Hey.
I'm not the biggest fan, somewhat of a fan. And I know that in Harry Potter they use magic.
True.
Are you guys using magic to play this sport? You guys flying around on brooms here or something like that?
We got the magic in our hearts, you know.
How do you play with the broom?
You go about, and after a while, you don't even realize it's there.
So you're holding it with one hand?
One hand.
I guess you have the ball in the other hand, doing what you have to do, either scoring or throwing the ball.
Makes things a little more difficult, but
Okay.
it definitely
Welcome, Rutgers, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Night. I am your host, Nayeri Hodge, and I am joined by our basketball analyst, Tariq Pierce, and later I'll be joined by TJ Furillo, our wrestling analyst. On this episode, we will have highlights of the men's basketball game against Seton Hall and the wrestling team's matchup with American U. Now, the men's basketball team had New Jersey bragging rights on the line this weekend going into the matchup against Seton Hall. Let's take a look at the highlights. After their biggest win, the men's basketball team came up short against Seton Hall. Why the big hangover after such a huge victory? Those 3-pointers are huge. But what does it say about the team's maturity that they could not capitalize on that big win and move up in the Big East standing? Tariq, as our analyst, looking ahead, the men's basketball team has the next couple of days off before they face Syracuse. They have an internal goal of winning 7 Big East games. Do you think it's possible?